I'm going to be demonstrating three-sided prismatic raw, and I'm going to start by showing it using 6/0 round seed beads in two different colors, the purple for the floor and the ceiling and the yellow or amber for the walls. So when you begin, you pick up the number of floor beads that are the same number of sides you're trying to make. So this is three-sided, so we're going to pick up 3 floor beads, pass through all of them again, and then pass through one more. Pull the unit nice and tight and get a good grip on your tail thread so that your tail and your working thread are pulling against each other to give you a nice firm tension. The first unit, we're going to add 3 beads, a wall, the ceiling, and then another wall. And picture it as going up and over and back through the floor bead in the same direction the thread's exiting. So now you have a floor and a ceiling opposite and 2 walls. Step through to the next floor bead. This unit is going to share its wall with the unit before. And think of it as your thread coming up and over and down through the other wall. So we're going to pick up a wall. See, there's your thread. It's going to come up and over. So it's pick up a wall, pick up the floor, then go through the wall again and through the floor in the same direction the thread was exiting. And now we're going to step over to the final side of this three-sided raw unit. So once you've gone through the floor, now the wall exists from the first one and the wall exists from the last one, and there's your floor. So pass up through the shared wall from the first unit, pick up the final ceiling bead, go through the wall bead on the last unit, and back through your floor bead. This will complete one level of the three-sided raw. So you see we have 3 ceiling beads now on the top. So now it's a matter of repositioning your thread. So you pass again up through the wall bead, go through the first ceiling bead, and now you want to tie these 3 ceiling beads together by going through each one of them. And once you've done that, think of it as once you've tied them together, the ceiling beads have now become the floor for the next section. And there's the tail coming off the original floor. If you ever drop your unit really early on and it's hard to figure out where you are, get a hold of that tail, find those first 3 beads, put the tail back in your hand, and that will help you a lot to locate which direction you're going in. So now we'll do the next level. The first unit always is 3 beads, a wall, a ceiling, a wall. Pass through the floor bead again in the same direction. Go through the next floor bead. This time 2 beads, a wall, the ceiling, then go back through the shared wall and back through the floor bead. Step over through the next and final floor bead. And again, its walls are already here. So you go up, there's the second wall. So go up the first wall, pick up a ceiling, down through the previous wall and back through the floor. Reposition by going up the wall again. Go through a ceiling bead and then tie the 3 together, turning the ceiling beads into the floor beads. Now we have 2 sections of prismatic raw. We're going to do it one more time. Wall, ceiling, and wall. Back through your floor bead. Step through your next floor bead. Pick up a wall, pick up a ceiling, back through the wall, back through the floor. Step through the next floor, up through the wall, pick up the final ceiling bead, go down through the wall, back through the floor, reposition, go up the wall, through a ceiling, and then tie your 3 ceiling beads together. We're now going to move on and we're going to do the same thing with the same color beads in a size 8 to give you more feel of what it will look like when you're doing it. So these are size 8 beads, all in the same color, but the principle's the same. I'm going to start by picking up 3 beads representing the 3 sides. Pass through all 3 again, tying them all together. And then one more so we can get a nice tension on the tail versus the working thread. Make sure they go into a nice little 3-point. Get a good grip on your tail. So we're going to pick up 3 beads representing the wall, the ceiling, and the wall. Pass through the floor bead again in the same direction. Pass through the next floor bead. This time the pickup is 2 beads, a wall and a ceiling. Go back through the wall, back through the floor bead in the same direction. Step over to the final floor bead. See, there's the original 3 at the bottom. So there's the final floor bead. Your wall beads already exist, so go up through the first wall. Pick up the missing ceiling, down through the last wall, back through the floor. Then reposition. You can clearly see the 4 bead unit there. So go up the wall, step through a ceiling, and then pass through all ceiling beads again, tying them together and turning them into the floor of the next level. Now, if you drop this little bundle of beads in the very beginning, before you have a nice little strip of them, a lot of times it's so confusing you cannot figure out where you are and which way you're heading. So what you always want to do is pick up the tail thread and put that in your non-dominant hand. And you know the tail thread has to be anchored by 3 beads. So find the bead it's coming out of and roll this little thing around until you can find there. There is the tail thread, and there are the 3 beads coming out. So I lock it in my fingertip and I turn it over and look at that. There's the working thread coming out of the 3 ceiling beads. And if you drop it before you get to the 3 ceiling beads, the principle remains. Pick up the tail thread, get yourself reoriented, put it back in your hand, and then proceed. So now I've picked up the wall, the ceiling, the wall, pass through the floor again, step through the next floor bead, pick up 2 beads, pass through the previous wall, back through the floor, step through the final floor bead, go up the very first wall bead, pick up the final ceiling bead, down through the wall, back through the floor, reposition, go up the wall, go through the ceiling, and then tie the 3 ceilings together. And now if you drop it, you'll see that it's very easy to pick right back up again. It's only in that first section that it gets very confusing. So we'll pick up 3 beads, go through the floor again. This will be the last unit I demonstrate. Step through the next floor, pick up 2 beads, back through the wall, back through the floor. So when you're doing prismatic, the first unit is pick up 3 beads, then you pick up 2 beads, and then you pick up 1 bead. Up through the wall, pick up your final bead for the final unit, back through the wall on the floor, and then up through the wall, through the ceiling, and then tie the 3 ceilings together.